All right, TTM trades. Let's talk American Airlines. I've really been watching the airlines as of lately, and you can tell that there's been some buying as far as all the airlines go. They've kind of found a bottom. Now, whether that's a temporary bottom or not, a bottom has been established. And one that I've been paying close attention to is American Airlines and also Boeing. All right, but we're going to talk about American Airlines. I just took a few call options in American Airlines just based on the setup. Very beautiful setup here for a nice breakout to the upside. So again, what we have here is we have the weekly and the daily chart. We'll take a more long-term view and then a day-to-day view. But just looking at American Airlines, you can see that it peaked out here at 58. 96, we'll just say $60 even, and it's been on this downtrend here for quite some time, creating lower lows and lower highs, and just struggling to get above that middle Bollinger Band on the Bollinger Bands, right? And I use a 30 period SMA for my Bollinger Bands, and I use a 1 standard and a 2 standard deviation. All right, but each time you see as we one just to look, the PMO crossed over fully below its averages, and it's been down in bear territory for the longest. As you can see here, is below that zero line. So that's number one. Number two is just looking at peer price action compared to the Bollinger Bands. Each time you push up to that middle BB, you get rejection, right? Rejected, rejected, rejected. And what's true for a downtrend is that as long as a stock is in a downtrend, it will struggle to get above its middle Bollinger Band, and it will definitely struggle to get above that top 1 standard deviation Bollinger Band. Now, in an uptrend and or a downtrend, that top 1 standard in a downtrend will represent the 50 period SMA, right? Um, a 1 standard deviation away from the middle BB, which is a 30 SMA, calculates to right around a 50 SMAs. All right. So just looking at that top 1 standard along with that middle BB, the price action will struggle to get above either of those two. And will constantly push lower and lower into that bottom 2 standard deviation Bollinger Band, creating lower lows. And then finally, right around last year with COVID, the airline sector as a whole sold off just completely, all the way down here for American Airlines down to that $8-9 range. Now, again, you hit that $8-9 range, some immediate buying comes into play. Large spike in volume. Okay, be mindful these are weekly bars. And again, it hits that middle Bollinger Band, it gets rejected. But as you notice, as it pulls back, it stays within that 1 standard deviation Bollinger Band. All right, and it starts trending sideways, where you can see this is an accumulation cycle right here by the institutions on a week to week basis. And then finally, you get a break above that middle uh, Bollinger Band and a break above that top 1 standard deviation Bollinger Band. And then as the price action pulls back, it holds right here on that top 1 standard deviation, creating another breakout, a higher high than this one. And then you get another pullback into the top 1 standard deviation. And now you're starting to see the price action beginning to create higher lows. Here's a low, another higher low, another higher low, and possibly starting to create higher highs at the same time. All right. Now, that top, that 150 SMA is a very important average to get above. All right. And that 150 SMA right here is sitting at $27. Okay. $27. And I think that's right around where we're going to push up into, right into that $25 to $27 range. Now, this will continue to trend downward. So I would say $25 to $26 range. But I think we can get a nice spread here from 18 to $25 to $26 for a 7 to 8 point spread on this play. Okay, which could be close to a little over 50%. Now, I'm taking call options on this play again, but I think on a week to week basis, as we got down in this price range of that $8 to $10, if you look at the volume, is very flat, light selling, light selling. And as soon you get right into that range, you get this high spike in volume on a week to week basis, showing that institutions are really buying into this, and they've taken it out of a downtrend and now it's holding within the bands, and now it's finally breaking back outside of the bands. Now, one thing to also keep in mind on the weekly chart, as far as American Airlines, you'll see the RSI is finally broken above its averages and it's holding with a breakout here. When it pulled back, it hit the short-term average twice, and it's breaking out to the upside again. Also, along with that, you'll see that the PMO has finally broken out and crossed above both its averages, and now it's back in bull territory on the weekly chart. Now, another beautiful thing is the price action is consolidating. Okay, this is the Bollinger Bandwidth indicator. It represents volatility, right? As an option trader, volatility is very important. But what you see here is you get a nice breakdown cycle, breakout cycle, but the price action moves very fast outside the bands, causing them to expand as such. Hence why the Bollinger Bandwidth indicator has spiked up so high. And now you see it's pulling back below its average to reflect that the bands are very tight to represent that consolidation period. Now, again, volatility is cyclical. So where there's a consolidation period, breakout period, another consolidation period, you're going to get another breakout period. And just based on the setup, that breakout is going to be to the upside where the price action pushes outside of the bands. Now, going to the daily chart, right, because we want to kind of have a feel for what the price action is going to do day to day as we trade. Just looking at the daily chart, you get that the PMO is in bull territory. It was below its averages, showing that the price action was slowing down and consolidating, and then immediately it curved back upwards, getting above its averages to represent this breakout here that you see on the weekly chart. All right, now the price action began to pull back, holding above that 150 SMA, which is very important because that 150 SMA represents the weekly's chart middle Bollinger Band. And again, you get below that middle Bollinger Band and that bottom one standard deviation Bollinger Band, that possibly puts this chart back into a setup of a week-to-week sell-off. But you can see as it began to pull back, it held above the 150 SMA. And then again, you get this nice breakout to the upside again. And then as it pulls back on a daily, you hit that top one standard deviation, and then buying comes back into play again. Now, what I would keep in mind is here on the daily, all right, you see that the Bollinger Bandwidth indicator fell below its average again, showing that we was in a consolidation cycle this entire time, right? If I take this and I mark the chart from there to here, we're in a consolidation cycle. You can see the price action move sideways this entire time, right? From give or take $11 to about $15, the price action was just whipping sideways, right? Hence the PMO flattening out and going below its averages, and the Bollinger Bandwidth below its average to show we're in a consolidation cycle. Then we moved into a breakout cycle, hence this breakout here, the spike in the Bollinger Bandwidth. And if you look now on the daily chart, we're in another consolidation cycle where the Bollinger Bandwidth is below that average, which is reflecting the bands are beginning to constrict on the price action. As you can see here, they tighten back up. But again, volatility is cyclical. If we're in a consolidation period, then you should see a breakout period here again. Now, if you're seeing both the daily and the weekly in the consolidation cycle, and you get a strong breakout on the daily to the upside, as you can see here, the RSI, which was below its averages, hit that 50 area, and then some buying came back into play. Now put the RSI back above its averages to get another breakout push to the upside. As you get a strong breakout here on the daily, it will reflect on the weekly. So my current price target right now is to try to aim for that $25 to $26 window, which looking at the monthly chart, that would correlate to the monthly chart's middle Bollinger Band, which as you can see is currently trending down to catch up with the price action on a month-to-month basis. So definitely $25 to $26 I feel will hit on the weekly chart, and then you'll get a pullback for the chart to establish itself on a month-to-month basis as far as the double Bollinger Band setup. But we're aiming for 25 to 26 max on American Airlines. Big institutions have came in and accumulated a lot of shares from that $8.50 to $14 range, and now they're looking to push this one back to the upside, and I don't think anyone's paying attention to it. $25 is the price target on American Airlines. Call options have been bought. I will see you there. Let's make some money.